about the difference then? Eating disorders and food addictions, obviously they're separate things. So how are they different? Is, for example, anorexia, can we say it's also addiction to little food, if you like, as
Sure.
little as possible? But is it an addiction, or is it something completely different in clinical to sort of science?
So that argument has been made, and I am in favor of it, that someone with, for example, anorexia nervosa could become addicted to starvation or addicted to restriction, as people call it. We know that individuals with bulimia nervosa can become addicted to the purge. So it's not just the binge and the food that's very rewarding. It can also be the act of purging, which is very self-soothing, particularly with the vagus nerve, and particularly when there's a lot of trauma. So the argument that the eating disorder spectrum can contain a lot of addiction-like processes has been made and has some scientific support. However, it does seem that the eating disorder community and the addiction community are very split and very separate. And I think that there's a lot of overlap between them that isn't currently being discussed. It seems like there are these two different schools of thought, and you either on one side or the other, and that's the state of the field. And I've been working really hard to try to educate the food addiction community about eating disorders, and to educate the eating disorder community about food addiction, and say it doesn't have to be these very separate and distinct ideologies. There's actually a lot of overlap, and there's a lot of tension, at least from my perspective. There's a lot of tension about this conversation, because in my assessment, the eating disorder community does not seem to like the concept of addiction-like eating, because the argument is that it promotes more restriction and more dieting, which can in turn cause problems for some people.